Howdy. Welcome to my shop. My name's Ron and I'll be your host for the next 10 minutes or so. Being a fourth generation carpenter, wood is that's my language. It's my living, it's my hobby, it's my passion. One of those passions is making stocks. I've never had any formal training in this. I just wanted to put a piece of wood on a gun one day, and I seemed like that'd be a pretty unique challenge, so I tried it. And been going at it ever since, but honestly, I owe a lot of my success to my customers, my friends that have suggested this or that, different ways of doing it to produce a better outcome. And so I appreciate them. I owe them a great deal. The finish that I use was suggested by a friend of mine that owns a gun shop in Georgia, a guy named Dan. I've been friends with him for many years, and I owe him for that knowledge. So I don't suggest that my way is the only way. That's just not the case. I picked up my abilities to do this from watching other people and seeing other things and then figuring out how to do that. So it's a process. Some ways are better, cleaner, faster. They require less effort. On and on it goes. And I'm open to learning new and better ways. I'm always looking for that. My grandfather used to say, never let a day go by that you don't learn something. So when I do, I'll often look up, thanks, Pop, because no matter how old you get, you still need to be learning new things. So come on in, see what's going on today. Well, hello there. Today I'm going to be working on a 788 Remington. I picked this thing up years ago when my grandkids were little and they needed something that would kick them very lightly and something that would still reach out and touch them. This is a carbine, got the short barrel, and I made a youth rifle out of this thing. I put a stock on it that is full length now, and then I cut off, I don't know, an inch, and then I cut off another 3/4 of an inch, and I put the pad on there, so it was a youth length, and then I kept the blocks and doweled them, pinned them back on there as the kids got older. Now the young one that I made that for, when he was killed his first 2 deer when he was 8, he's now 19 years old. So I've had this thing a while. I've just let my grandkids run through it, all the different grandsons that wanted to, and I am a grandfather to the 6th power. And now I'm going to put a stock on it, and I'm going to use it myself. So I'm going to reproduce this thing with a 13 3/8 trigger pull, which fits me because I'm kind of a short-armed little guy. And I'm going to put just a teeny bit of elevation on the comb of it, about another 1/8 of an inch or so. I'm going to add to the top of the comb. This piece of wood, this blank, has been in my shop now for 4 years, and I cut my own trees and I put them out in the yard and cover them, and I check them from time to time, and then as I need them, I bring them in the shop. I check the moisture, write the moisture content down, and put a date on it. And then every few years, I come back and recheck it. Before I start making a stock, I'll check it again. So this is a moisture meter. It's got 2 little prongs that you can see there, and a click button in it. See what the moisture is on this thing. That's 8%. 7% there. 7% is considered kiln dried. 8%. 8%. We're good. We're good. This piece of wood I cut in Athens, Tennessee. It's got some really nice figure to it. You can see that there in the back end of it there. This side's got some really nice dark streaks, black stripes all the way out to the tip there. It's just a really nice piece of wood. Should make a dandy rifle stock for this little Remington. I'm going to, since this stock fits me well enough, I'm just going to take the bolt out and use this stock as a pattern. I'm going to add just a little bit in there in that pistol grip and give it just a little bit. I made this one extremely small for grandkids' hands, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for my hands. Okay. That ought to use up a lot of these dark streaks and keep them in the rifle. Now what I've done is just made a mark here and a mark here, and I'll take a straight edge, connect those dots here and here and here and here, and also across the top. And then I'll lay it back on there, make sure it's good, and we'll bandsaw it out. Alright, I got my pattern drawn out. The most important line that I'm going to cut, and need to make this extremely accurate, is the top of the barrel bed. That has to be really straight. Everything goes off of that. And so what I'm going to do is cut this a teeny bit bigger than what it needs to be, and then I'm going to run it across a jointer and slick it up and make sure it's 90 degrees. It needs to be perpendicular to the sides. It has to be 90 degrees on top to the sides. It just helps a lot when you're trying to make something if everything lines up straight. Okay, you can see that I have left my pencil line about a 32nd of an inch past my pencil line. I've left it, so that gives me room to plane this off on a jointer and make sure that this is super slick. This is one machined surface that everything else measures off of. Alright, I'm not going to take for granted that that fence I'm going to use is going to make this thing be 90 degrees. So I'm going to check it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty close. Pretty close. I didn't quite cut my line out, but I got about half of it. So I'm going to call that good. Now, if there's something here I forgot to do, I can add it. It's not a problem. But usually I leave a little notch back here at the back that I set it in when I put it in my machine, my milling machine, and I'm just going to have to add a little piece to make my notch. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. I want to show you some really pretty grain on the bottom of this thing. I don't know if this camera will pick it up or not. See those waves? That is going to finish out and absolutely sparkle. This is my mill. This is a milling machine with a homemade base stand. This is actually a mill drill, but I like it because the bed is not very deep, but it's really wide. The bed is this part here. This is what moves back and forth. And you need to be able to see what you're doing, so I've got two clamp-on lights there. These two vices are lined up with each other on this back surface and this back surface. They're straight in line with each other. So when I put a piece of wood in here and clamp both vices on it, and then this bed shifts back and forth, these two surfaces line up with a straight piece of wood, and they are in line with the travel of this bed. This is my #1 tool for the inletting, the cutting out the part of the gun, the stock that the rifle action and barrel sits in. I used to do all this by hand with drills and skill saws and chainsaws and weed eaters and whatever, chisels, rasps, files, you name it. But a few years ago I got a mill and never looked back. It's really a lot of fun to use. It really produces a nicer product, easier. So this is my mill. Don't have a name for it. It's just the mill. I'm going to put the piece of wood in there, put this stock blank in there, get it clamped down, and show you what it takes to get it ready to start. Well, thanks for choosing to spend your time here with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this program. I'll try to post a new segment each weekend. In addition, if you'd like to read about a stock that I made, and then it took a 20-foot free fall, click on the link at the bottom of this page. It's called The Broken Gun. It's a story I wrote a few years ago about my two boys. Sometimes life's hard and things get broken. Now and then we get a chance to fix them. I'm so grateful for the opportunity I had to repair this broken stock. It led to a restoration that I never could have imagined. As always, if you like this video, please click the like button and share this with your friends. Have a great day.